My people, have you ever heard of a girl who could speak to the spirits of the dead? A young village girl, who uncovered a secret buried for hundreds of years in the heart of Benin City. This is not just a story, it is a journey of truth, of courage, and of the spirits who refuse to be forgotten. In this story, we meet Esosa, a girl chosen by the ancestors to reveal what kings and queens tried to hide. What happened in Benin shocked everyone. A buried princess, a cursed palace, and a girl who became a legend. Get ready, because what you are about to hear will stay with you forever. This is the secret of Benin, the girl who spoke to spirits. My lovely people, before we begin this powerful story, please do me one small favor. If you enjoy stories that touch the heart and honor our African roots, kindly click that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything, but it means the world to me. Let's grow this family together. Thank you so much. Now, let's begin. Benin City was quiet that night. The stars were bright. The wind wasn't somewhere behind Mama Ibo's small mud house. The old mango tree stood tall like a king. Esosa couldn't sleep. She tossed and turned on her mat, the heat making her sweat. She turned to the window. The mango tree outside swayed gently, even though there was no wind. She blinked. Was the tree moving by itself? Then it happened. She closed her eyes, and suddenly, she was standing under the mango tree, but in a dream. Everything around her was glowing. The tree shined like gold. The ground was covered with white sand, and the sky looked like it was dancing. Esosa looked around. Where am I? She whispered. Then she heard it. Esosa. The voice was like a song and wind mixed together. She turned quickly. A woman stood in front of her. Tall, glowing, wearing a white wrapper with cowries in her hair. Her feet didn't touch the ground. Who are you? Esosa asked, her voice shaking. I am the one they forgot, the woman said. Esosa stepped back. I don't understand. You will, soon. Then everything turned black. When Esosa woke up, her whole body was shaking. Sweat covered her back, and her heart beat fast like a talking drum. Rushed outside, barefoot, to check the mango tree. It looked the same, still, old, normal, but deep inside her heart, Esosa knew. That dream was not a dream. Esosa sat quietly beside her mother, peeling yam for breakfast. Didn't talk much. Her mother noticed. You no go school today? Mama asked, her hands full of palm oil. I go. I just day think. Think weddin'. Esosa paused. Should I talk? Should I tell her mother what she saw? I dreamed last night, she finally said. Everybody daydream, Mama answered. Nah, normal. But this one different, Mama. One woman call me. She shine like sun. She stand under mango tree. Mama Ibo, Esosa's grandmother, who had been sitting quietly in the corner, suddenly turned. Which tree? Esosa pointed. The one behind our house. Dropped her walking stick and stood up slowly. Her eyes narrowed. That tree. Esosa looked at her grandmother. Mama, you sabi something? The old woman came close, bent down, and touched Esosa's forehead. She muttered something in old Edo language. You carry something inside you, Esosa, Mama Ibo said. Something old. Strong. Esosa felt a chill. What do you mean, Mama? You go understand with time. But listen well, if spirit call your name once, no shake. If dem call 'em twice, be ready. But if dem call 'em 3 times. Mama Ibo didn't finish. She walked away slowly into her room. That day at school, Esosa was not herself. She heard whispers when nobody was talking. She felt cold breeze in a room with no fan. When her teacher wrote history on the chalkboard, Esosa saw the word burning like fire, though no one else reacted. During break, she sat alone under a tree. A boy passed by and called her, Spirit Girl. The other students laughed. How did they know? Esosa ran home crying. That night, she stayed in her mother's room and begged not to sleep alone. But she still dreamt. This time, she was inside a big palace full of gold and carvings, just like the ones in the Benin Museum. Fire torches burned on the walls. People in white clothes danced slowly in a circle, singing in old tongues. And there she was again. The glowing woman. This time she was crying. Benin has forgotten me, the woman said. But through you, I will speak again. Esosa shouted, what do you want from me? The woman's eyes turned into flames. Remember me. Find me. Free me. Esosa woke up screaming. Mama Ibo confesses. Early the next morning, Mama Ibo called her into the backyard. I need tell you something, my Pekin, the old woman said. Esosa sat on the bench. In our blood, we get something special. Long time ago, our family used to speak to spirits. We help kings, we warn people of danger. But after the white man come, people fear us. Dem say we be witches. So we hide the gift. Esosa was shocked. You mean, me, I can talk to spirits? Yes. And the woman way they call you she no day joke. She want make you do something big. Esosa's hands shook. I'm just a girl. Mama Ebo smiled sadly. You know just be girl. You be messenger. The next few days in Benin City felt strange for Esosa. She could feel it in the air. The wind was no longer just wind. It carried voices, soft ones, too quiet for others to hear, but loud enough for her. They called her name. They laughed like children. They cried. She tried to ignore them. She covered her ears. She stayed indoors. But the more she avoided the voices, the louder they became. Even when she closed her eyes to pray, the whispers came. One evening, while sweeping the compound, she heard it clearly. Find the shrine. Behind the red wall. She froze. Her broom dropped. Her heart beat fast. She looked around. No one was there. Not even a lizard. Shrine. She whispered. Which shrine? But there was no answer. Just the soft rustling of leaves. Mama Ebo's warning. Esosa ran to Mama Ebo that night. Mama, they talked to me again. Mama Ebo, seated on her mat, looked calm. What dem talk? They say I should find a shrine. Behind red wall. The old woman nodded slowly, chewing kola nut. I know that place. The old red wall near Ogu Market. Nobody go there again. Why? Mama Ebo's face darkened. Long time ago, that shrine was for spirit messages. But something happened bad. They seal 'em. People no day talk about 'em again. Esosa felt her throat go dry. But why the spirits want me to go there? Because your time dawn come. Dark clouds gathered without rain. Birds flew in circles. Goats refused to leave their pens. In school, Esosa's friends started avoiding her. They whispered behind her back. One girl pointed at her and said, "Na shio." The girl way day talked to ghost. Even her best friend, Ivy, stopped talking to her. During break, Esosa sat under a cashew tree and cried. Just wanted to be normal. Didn't ask for spirits. She didn't ask to hear voices. But something inside her whispered again. You were chosen, long before you were born. That evening, her mother took her to an old native doctor living on the outskirts of the city. The man looked like he was carved out of wood, tall, lean, with skin like leather and eyes that didn't blink much. He watched Esosa for a long time before speaking. She carry the mark, he said. Esosa's mother held her hand. What mark? The mark of the in-between. She walks both worlds, the world of the living, and the world of the spirits. Esosa trembled. Can you stop it? Native doctor shook his head. No, you cannot stop the river when it has already started flowing. He gave her a small white stone. Keep this with you. When the voices come, hold it tight. Left feeling more afraid than before. The wind speaks louder. That night, the wind came like thunder. It slammed windows, blew open doors, lifted palm fronds from the roof. Esosa sat up on her bed, clutching the white stone. And then she saw it. A figure outside her window. Glowing white. Female. The same woman from her dreams. This time, she spoke loud and clear. Tomorrow, go to the shrine. You will see what they buried. Esosa wanted to scream, but no sound came. Passed out. The next day, she did not go to school. Followed the voice in her heart. Past Ogu Market. Past the meat sellers and yam hawkers. Past the old statue of the Oba. Then she saw it. The red wall. Tall, cracked, faded with age, covered in green moss. Behind it, trees whispered like they knew her name. Walked slowly. The white stone in her hand felt warm. There was a small path. Followed it. It led to a broken shrine, round, small, with clay pots and black ashes on the ground. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew her wrapper and threw her to the ground. Looked up and saw three faces. Ghostly, transparent, floating above the shrine. One was a woman, the other two, men. They spoke together. You are the one, the only one, the girl who hears. Esosa's mouth was dry. What do you want from me? To speak the truth. To free the forgotten. The woman's spirit pointed at the ground. Beneath this shrine lies a secret that the palace buried. And just like that they vanished. Esosa ran home like her feet were on fire. Burst into the house, crying. I saw them. I saw spirits. They spoke to me. Mama Ebo hugged her tightly. You're strong, Esosa. You know day mad. You know be witch. You be messenger. I don't want it, Esosa cried. I just want to be normal. But you were never born to be normal, the old woman said. You were born to shake the ground. Preparing herbal tea for Esosa, a knock came at the door. Strong, firm, loud. 3 men stood outside in red beads and wrapper. Royal messengers. The Oba has summoned the girl, one of them said. Esosa stepped back. Me, yes. The ancestors have spoken. You are chosen for this year's festival. The royal palace of Benin City stood tall and wide like a sleeping giant. Its brown walls told stories. Its carved doors whispered history. Esosa had never entered before. Now, she was being led by royal guards past tall wooden statues, through courtyards with burning torches, into a large open hall. She kept her head down, holding Mama Ibo's wrapper tightly. The Oba sat on a high throne, wearing coral beads that covered his neck like armor. His face was strong, but his eyes were tired. Beside him stood the Iyoba, the queen mother, a woman with sharp eyes and silent power. And behind them, drummers played. The Oba raised one hand. Silence. You are Esosa? Yes, Your Highness. Spirits have spoken. This year, the girl chosen to be the voice of the ancestors during the Eid festival, is you. Esosa's legs shook. I didn't apply. You were chosen not by man, the Oba said, but by the spirits. Mama Ibo explained as they walked back home. Every year, the people of Benin call the ancestors to bless the land. The Eid festival is not just celebration, it's cleansing. Esosa listened. In old days, the Oba would walk through the city, surrounded by priests and dancers, blessing the people. But one person must speak for the spirits. That person is called the mouth of the spirits. And that's me, Esosa asked. Mama Ibo nodded. It has always been trained, prepared. But this year, they say the ancestors chose you directly. Esosa didn't feel chosen, felt afraid. Priests visited Esosa daily. They taught her old chants and spirit songs. She learned how to walk barefoot on sacred ground, how to pour libation, how to recognize ancestral signs. But every night, the voices returned. More spirits now, more messages, cried for justice, warned of danger, and some spoke of a missing princess. Free me, a female voice whispered one night. I was never meant to die. Esosa woke up sweating. The white stone in her hand glowed dimly. On the 3rd day of preparation, a royal carriage stopped outside Mama Ibo's compound. Out came Prince. His beads were smaller than the Oba's but shone just as bright. Esosa stepped out, confused. Good afternoon, said shyly. Good afternoon, Esosa, the prince said with a smile. I came to see the girl who hears spirits, laughed nervously. I'm not used to visitors like you. You will be. The people are talking. Some are scared. Believe you're sent to save us. Esosa looked away. I didn't ask for this. The prince's voice softened. The strongest gifts come uninvited. But I believe the ancestors chose we. The streets of Benin began to change. Red, black, and white clothes hung on ropes across rooftops. Drummers practiced every night. Masked dancers moved through the markets. Women pounded yam in groups, laughing and singing. Children painted their faces with white chalk. And in the middle of all this, Esosa was no longer the girl everyone mocked. Now, people greeted her with respect and a little fear. Good afternoon, mouth of the spirits, they would say. Offered her kola nuts. Others whispered prayers as she passed. She didn't feel powerful, just nervous. 2 nights before the festival, as Esosa combed her hair, she saw something strange. Her reflection didn't move with her. She blinked. The mirror version of herself stared back with glowing white eyes. Then it opened its mouth and whispered. They fear what you will say. Be careful who smiles at you. The mirror cracked. Esosa screamed. Mama Ibo rushed in. It's starting, the old woman said. The truth wants to come out. But not everybody wants the truth. The day before the festival, Esosa was taken to the Chamber of Echoes, a sacred room in the palace where past mouths of the spirits had spoken. The walls were painted with stories. A woman in red dancing with fire, a man speaking to trees, a child pointing at the stars. In the center of the room was a small clay stool. Esosa sat down. Suddenly, the air became heavy. Filled the room. She closed her eyes. And then she saw them, the past voices floating around her. Old, wise, powerful. You carry the pain of many, one said. But also the hope, said another. When you speak tomorrow, do not fear. Say what the spirits tell you. Even if it shakes the throne. Esosa nodded. She was ready. Almost. In the palace, the Iyoba queen mother sat with her advisor. Must not say too much, the queen said. But the Oba believes she is the chosen one, the advisor replied. I don't care. If she mentions the princess, if she speaks the truth, everything will fall apart. What should we do? The queen's eyes were cold. Prepare the charm. We'll make her forget. The Eid festival had finally arrived. Benin City was alive. Drums beat like thunder. Trumpets echoed in the distance. Everywhere you turned, people danced, sang, and celebrated. The streets were flooded with men in red wrappers, women with coral beads, and children running barefoot with white chalk on their faces. The whole city smelled of roasted yam, hot pepper soup, and burning incense. But in the palace.it was different. It was quiet, calm, holy. Because today, the ancestors would speak. And Esosa was the voice. Walking to the throne, Esosa wore a pure white wrapper, tied tightly around her chest. Her feet were bare. Her face had been painted with white lines to represent purity. Coral beads covered her neck and arms. She was escorted by 2 priestesses who walked silently. Beside her, the Oba's throne room was filled with the high chiefs, the royal family, and elders from every part of the land. Everyone rose as she entered. Even the Oba stood. Esosa bowed. The Oba raised a carved staff. Let the voice of the ancestors speak. The room went silent. A soft wind entered the hall. The spirit speaks through her. Esosa stepped forward. She didn't plan to speak. But something took over. Her lips moved, but the voice wasn't hers. It was older, deeper, echoing. Benin, land of blood and bronze. You have forgotten your roots. You have covered secrets with gold. But truth cannot be buried forever. Gasps filled the room. The Queen Mother leaned forward. The spirits are watching. The bones beneath the shrine still cry. The princess who vanished is not gone. Lives. In the girl who now stands before you. The Oba stood up, his face filled with shock. Which princess? Esosa fell to the ground, breathing fast. After the message, Prince rushed forward and held her. She's burning up, he shouted. The priestesses fanned her. Mama Ibo appeared from the corner and knelt beside her, whispering calming words in Edo. The Oba looked around, confused. What is this about a princess? No one answered, but the Queen Mother's hands were shaking. She turned to her advisor and whispered, we must act. Now, Esosa was taken to a quiet guest room inside the palace to rest. It was large, with carved pillars and a clay lantern burning in the corner. Prince Idamudia visited her with fruits and honey water. Are you okay? He asked. Esosa nodded weakly. I don't know what happened. You spoke. But it wasn't you. It was like someone else was using your body. Esosa whispered, a woman. She keeps appearing. She says was betrayed. The prince sat down beside her. There was once a princess. Her name was Omoy. She was the Oba's only daughter, years before I was born. They say she disappeared. Some say she ran. Others say she died. Esosa looked up. I think I'm her. The prince stared. As the moon rose high, the Queen Mother entered Esosa's room. Alone. Her gold beads didn't make a sound as she walked. Sat beside the sleeping girl and whispered. You are waking things that should remain asleep. Esosa opened her eyes. She wasn't afraid. What are you afraid of? Asked. The queen smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. If the people find out what really happened to Princess Omoy, there will be blood. I didn't choose to speak, Esosa said. The spirits chose me. The queen leaned in close. And if I end your voice tonight, what will the spirits do? Esosa gripped her white stone tightly. The flame in the room went out. The room was now filled with thick smoke. The queen coughed and stumbled backward. From the smoke, a glowing figure appeared. It was the same spirit woman Omoy. She stood between Esosa and the Queen Mother, her eyes burning like fire. You cannot silence the dead. The queen screamed and ran out of the room. When the smoke cleared, Esosa was sitting up, alone. But her fear was gone. Now understood, was the return of the forgotten princess. The prince snuck her into the palace's old record chamber, a dusty room filled with scrolls, carvings, and ancient clay tablets. They searched for anything about Princess Omoy. After an hour, they found a scroll sealed with wax. The prince broke it open. Inside, it read, Omoy, daughter of Oba Mud, died mysteriously. Found near the red shrine, poisoned. Cause unknown. Body never recovered. Royal burial forbidden. Record closed by order of the Queen Mother. Esosa's hands trembled. Poisoned, and her spirit never rested. The prince looked at her. And now she's back through you. News of the spirit's message spread across Benin. People talked in markets, in homes. Who is the missing princess? Why was her body Never buried. Why is the Queen Mother acting strange? The Oba called for a private meeting. But even the chiefs were divided. Some supported Esosa, others feared what she might reveal next. The land was shaking, and the storm had just begun. As the moon climbed high over Benin City, Esosa sat awake in her palace room, heart pounding. Held the scroll tightly in her hand, the one that said Princess Omoy died of poison and was never buried. The words haunted her. Suddenly, a cold breeze filled the room. Then she appeared, the glowing woman with flames in her eyes. But this time, she looked younger. Beautiful. Sad. Are you, Omoy? Esosa asked, voice trembling. The spirit nodded. Yes, I am. And you are the vessel. Esosa stood. Why me? Because I died without truth. My name was erased. The crown silenced me. And you? You can speak. The spirit moved closer, her voice soft but full of pain. I was the Oba's only daughter. Loved by many. Promised to a prince from another kingdom to seal peace. Esosa listened carefully. But I fell in love. With someone else. A guard. A common man. The Queen Mother was furious. Esosa gasped. She warned me. Said I was shaming the throne. That I must marry the prince or be punished. What happened? Esosa whispered. She poisoned me. In the night before the wedding. Esosa's mouth dropped open. No one knew. She paid the palace guards to bury my body near the red shrine. They erased my name from the scrolls. The spirit paused. But now, the land remembers. At sunrise, Esosa ran back to the red wall behind Ogu Market. Prince Idamudia followed her in secret. Knelt beside the broken shrine, placed both hands on the earth, and whispered. Omoy, I am here. Suddenly, the ground shook. Dust rose. A small part of the shrine cracked open. Inside was a wrapped cloth, old, stained, and holding bones. Prince Idamudia stepped forward, shocked. This is her body, Esosa said. We must tell the Oba. No, Esosa said quickly. Not yet. We need the people to see it. If we take it to the palace, they may hide it again. The prince nodded. They returned home with the bones wrapped in white. Mama Ibo stared at it and wept. My spirit told me long ago that something was buried there. But fear is a strong thing. I was too afraid to speak. Now we must speak for you, and for her, Esosa said. The old woman held her granddaughter's hand. You were born for this. As night fell, Esosa's gift became stronger. She heard many women crying, men shouting, children singing. Some called for justice. Others just wanted peace. Saw faces in the fire. Names came to her in dreams. But always, Omoy's voice remained loudest. Finish what they tried to bury. Let them remember me. Esosa knew what she had to do. Had to speak again publicly with the bones beside her. But would the Oba allow it? Back in the palace, the Queen Mother smashed a clay pot on the ground. Found the bones, she shouted. The advisor nodded. With the help of the prince. Foolish boy, she yelled. He will destroy us. What should we do? Make them fear her. Make the people think she's possessed. Then no one will believe what she says. That night, they sent whispers to the city. Esosa is a witch. Talks to evil spirits. Cursed the Oba. Will bring sickness to the land. By morning, the rumors were everywhere. Esosa noticed it first at the market. People avoided her. Some crossed the road when she walked past. One woman spat and said, we don't talk to dead people. Even her old school teacher said, your gift is from the devil. Esosa cried in Mama Ibo's lap. Why do they hate me? Mama Ibo held her. They are afraid. The truth is shaking their world. Prince Idamudia came that evening. I've spoken to my father, he said. He will allow you to speak again. But only during the closing ceremony of the festival tomorrow night. Esosa stood up. Then I will speak. And I will not hide the bones. They will see what they buried. The prince hesitated. If you do this, my mother may try to harm you again. Esosa looked him in the eyes. She's already tried. But this time, I have the spirits on my side. Esosa sat outside under the stars, staring at the bones. She poured libation water, palm oil, and a drop of red wine and whispered prayers. Princess Omoy, I will not fail you. Then, the wind blew. A warm breeze. Peaceful. The spirits were with her. The final day of the Eid festival arrived. The people of Benin City wore their finest. Men dressed in red and black, their wrappers starched and shining. Women tied head wraps that stood like crowns. Children painted symbols on their cheeks and danced with energy. But underneath the celebration, the city was holding its breath. Everyone had heard the rumors. Esosa has bones. She says the Queen Mother killed a princess. The spirits want justice. Some believed, some doubted, but all waited to hear her speak. Inside the palace, the Queen Mother was not smiling. She wore gold and red. Her skin glowed from palm oil. But her heart was dark. She will not speak, she told her advisor. You've said that before, he muttered under his breath. She ignored him and handed him a small black calabash. Give this to the palace guards. If Esosa begins to speak, they must pour the contents near her feet. It will confuse her tongue. The spirits will flee. The advisor looked uneasy. And if that doesn't work? The Queen Mother's eyes narrowed. Then let fire fall. In a small hut behind the palace, Esosa sat quietly as Mama Ibo tied her white wrapper. A coral crown was placed gently on her head. Looked into the clay mirror. No longer saw fear. Saw fire. Purpose. Destiny. Prince Idamudia entered, dressed in a royal wrapper and beaded shirt. You look like a queen, he said. Esosa smiled. I look like a ghost. He came closer and held her hands. Whatever happens out there, I'm with you. She nodded. Let the spirits speak. The Oba's courtyard was packed. Everyone had gathered: chiefs, villagers, dancers, drummers, and spirit priests. The Oba sat on his golden throne. The Queen Mother by his side, calm on the outside, boiling inside. Priests chanted. Bells rang. Dust rose from dancers' feet. Then the Oba stood. Today, we close this year's Eid festival. And the voice of the ancestors will speak. All eyes turned to Esosa. She walked slowly to the center, barefoot, holding the white bundle, the bones of Princess Omoy wrapped in royal cloth. Gasps filled the air. Esosa raised her voice. This is not just a bundle. It is a forgotten body. A soul denied burial. A daughter erased. The crowd murmured. The Oba's face turned pale. Then she unwrapped the bones, placing them on a white cloth in the middle of the courtyard. This is Princess Omoy. Killed. Buried in shame. Forgotten. The Queen Mother stood. Lies. Esosa turned to her. The spirit told me. The earth revealed her. And you, Queen Mother, were the one who poisoned her. Cries rose from the crowd. No. The Queen Mother shouted. This girl is possessed. The advisor quickly poured the black powder near Esosa's feet. A thick smoke rose. Esosa began to cough. Her eyes watered. Her head spun. But then she held up her white stone. A bright light burst from it, pushing the smoke away. And in that moment Princess Omoy appeared. Her glowing spirit rose above the bones. Everyone screamed and knelt in fear. The Oba fell to his knees. Princess Omoy's voice echoed across the courtyard. I am Omoy, daughter of Oba Mud. I was silenced by the one who called herself mother. Killed me. Buried me in the dirt. Tried to erase me. But the spirits remember. The land remembers. And now, the Queen Mother backed away, shaking. No, please. But the spirit turned to her. You wore the crown, but your heart was full of pride. Today, your name will be forgotten as you tried to forget me. Thunder cracked. Lightning lit the sky. The Queen Mother screamed and fell to the ground. People rushed to help her, but a sudden gust of wind held them back. The fire burned fast, and when it stopped, she was gone. Only ashes remained. Rain began to fall. Not heavy. Gentle. Cleansing. Esosa dropped to her knees and wept. The spirit of Omoy turned to her. Thank you, my child. You are not just my voice. You are my justice. Then smiled, and disappeared into the rain. The Oba stood. I did not know, he whispered. I believed she ran away. I never questioned it. He turned to Esosa. You have done what many feared. You brought truth to the throne. You cleansed the land. He bowed to her, the Oba, bowing. So long as Benin stands, your name will be remembered. The rain washed the courtyard. The ashes of the Queen Mother mixed with dust and silence. No one moved. No one spoke. The spirit of Princess Omoy had vanished into the sky. But something had shifted in the land, in the palace, in the hearts of the people. Esosa sat quietly under the awning, drenched, her white wrapper soaked. She wasn't crying anymore. She was just still. Prince Idamudia walked to her, knelt beside her, and gently held her hand. You did it. You gave her peace. Esosa shook her head. No, she gave me courage. The Oba ordered a full state burial for Princess Omoy. The royal drums beat not for a celebration but for mourning and honor. Esosa walked at the front of the procession, holding the white wrapped bones. The streets were lined with people. Didn't laugh or shout this time. They stood in silence, heads bowed, as if the city itself was apologizing. When they reached the sacred grounds, the priests began the rites. They called on the ancestors. They called on the land. They called on Omoy. And then, they buried her properly with singing, with drumming, with tears. As Esosa lay in her room, the air grew calm. No voices. No wind. Just peace. She drifted into sleep. In her dream, Omoy appeared once more, but not glowing, not crying. This time, she was dressed in white lace, smiling. I am free now, because of you. Esosa reached out. Will I still hear them? Omoy smiled. Yes. Because there are more who have not yet been heard. 3 spirit priests visited Mama Ibo's compound. They brought gifts: cola nut, palm wine, and a carved staff. We come to honor Esosa, the eldest said. She is no longer just a girl. Now the eyes and ears of the ancestors. Esosa stepped forward, shy. I didn't ask for any title. You didn't have to, the priest replied. When spirits choose, crowns fall. They handed her the carved staff. With this, you will guide. You will see. You will know. Esosa felt its warmth in her hand. She nodded. Then I accept. Later that evening, Mama Ibo called Esosa to the backyard, where the mango tree still stood. She knelt before her. Forgive me, my Pekin. For all the years I kept our family's gift hidden. I was afraid. But you were never afraid. Esosa pulled her up and hugged her. You protected me in your own way, Mama. But now, we walk boldly. Now that Princess Omoy's story was revealed, others began to question the past. Villagers lined up outside Mama Ibo's house, hoping to speak with Esosa. My grandfather vanished, can you help us find him? My daughter cries at night, is it spirit trouble? I saw a shadow in my compound, is it a warning? At first, Esosa was overwhelmed. Then Mama Ibo smiled and said, let us build a place, a spirit house where people can come. A sacred space for truth. With the Oba's blessing, a sacred house was built on the land behind Mama Ibo's compound. It was simple but strong: red clay walls, a thatched roof, an altar for offerings, and a white cloth tied to the entrance. People came from across Edo State and beyond. Not just with problems, but with dreams, questions, and stories. Esosa sat each day, staff in hand, listening. Sometimes the spirits spoke through her. Sometimes they didn't. But always the people left with peace. Princess Omoy, daughter of Oba Idu, was wronged in silence but honored in truth. Her voice was returned through Esosa, the girl who walks between worlds. Let her story never be forgotten. And in the Benin Museum, a statue of Omoy was placed beside another, newer statue. Esosa, holding the white stone and the staff of truth. The next year, when the Eid festival came again, people asked, will the voice of the ancestors speak? But this time, it was different. The people didn't come for drums or dancers alone. They came for healing. They came for memory. Esosa stood before them not just as a messenger, but as a guardian of the unseen. Raised her staff and said, Benin is no longer a city of silence. It is a city that listens. The air was cleaner. The people walked with lighter steps. For the first time in decades, no one whispered about curses or shadows. But peace has a way of attracting darkness. Mama Ibo woke up with a heavy heart. The spirits are restless, she told Esosa. Something is not right. Esosa closed her eyes. The white stone she carried suddenly grew cold. That night, she had a dream. A masked man in black robe stood at the foot of the old palace holding a staff dipped in blood. He said one thing. You've woken the dead. Now you must face the living evil. Esosa went into the spirit house alone and called for guidance. The wind howled. A voice answered, not Omoy's, not the Forgottens. It was older, rough, cold. There is one who feeds on silence. He thrives when truth dies. His name has not been spoken for 400 years. Esosa saw a vision. An old palace priest who betrayed the people, performed sacrifices in secret, and cursed the royal bloodline when exposed. He was buried alive, but his spirit had never rested. And now, it was returning. That night, Esosa gathered courage, staff in hand, white chalk on her face, and walked alone to the forbidden forest behind the Oba's palace, the last place the spirit told her to go. There, found a mound of black soil with red symbols on it. Placed her white stone on the ground and whispered, let truth rise again. The ground cracked, smoke poured out, and from the earth came the spirit of the priest who cursed Benin. He stood tall, body made of ash and shadow, eyes like fire. You should have stayed silent, he growled. I was born to speak, Esosa replied. They clashed not with swords, but with spirits. He threw visions of fear at her: fire, snakes, screams, the Queen Mother's death. But Esosa stood firm, repeating names of the silenced. With each name, her staff glowed brighter. Finally, she struck the ground, and a wave of light burst out engulfing the dark spirit. It screamed and vanished. The forest returned to calm. You have ended the curse. Benin is free. The sun rose brighter than it had in years. Children ran through the streets. Drummers played without instruction. Women brought food to Mama Ibo's compound without asking. They all had one reason. Esosa, the girl who spoke to spirits, had saved them again. In the palace courtyard, the Oba stood before thousands. He called Esosa forward and handed her a golden staff, carved with her name. I give you the title. The voice of the silent ones. This gift is for all those who were never heard. Esosa opened more spirit houses, one in each village, each town. Not to fear spirits, but to honor them. She trained young girls and boys with gifts like hers, so they would never feel alone. The forgotten were remembered. Omoi's statue stood tall, and the story of the Queen Mother. It remained not to shame, but to teach. Because even in power, people must choose truth. Mama Ibo passed on peacefully, smiling in her sleep. Prince Idamudia and Esosa remained close. Some say they married quietly under the mango tree, others say they just shared a bond stronger than blood. Esosa continued to hear the whispers of the unseen. But never again with fear. Now, when the wind blew through Benin, people said, "That's not just the breeze. That's Esosa reminding us to listen." And so the story of Esosa, the girl who spoke to spirits, lived on. From generation to generation, not just as a tale of ghosts and curses, but as a reminder, no matter how long it takes, the truth will rise. And when it does, even the dead will smile. And that's the end of this powerful story. The story of Esosa, the girl who spoke to spirits, brought justice to a forgotten princess, and helped heal the land of Benin. My brothers and sisters, no matter how long the truth stays buried, one day, it will rise again. Esosa didn't look for power, didn't chase fame, just listened. And because she listened, the ancestors gave her a voice that shook the kingdom. Let her story remind us, never be afraid to speak for the silent. Even in darkness, one voice can bring light. Thanks you for watching. If this story touched your heart, please, like this video. Drop a comment, tell me your favorite part. And most importantly, subscribe to my channel for more powerful African stories. Until next time, stay safe, stay blessed, and always listen, because the spirits are still speaking. I love you all. Bye.